go get him again.
Welcome back to the Robezoid channel. I'm your host Mark, and on the docket today we have an unboxing first impression video on the brand of Kenzo. I just tackled the Eau de Toilette of Flower, and today it is the turn of the classic, the EDP, the Eau de Parfum. So I was looking forward to this one and see what it brings to the table. The Eau de Toilette really showed me what Kenzo is all about. Watery, floral, transparent, almost zen-like. So I'm figuring usually EDPs are denser. Usually. What does that mean? It's not about the power. It's about the density, the thickness of the fragrance. It almost has a little more weight to it, if that makes sense. Now, this is a top seller for Kenzo. Actually, if I'm a betting man, honestly, this might be the top seller of the brand. When people think about Kenzo, at least around my way, you know, even in the men's aisle, some people have a hard time trying to pinpoint a Kenzo, but they'll see this bottle and they'll know. This one had heavy marketing behind it, all that. It is what Kenzo is, actually. So I feel personally, you know, forget Kenzo Put On, which is an excellent release, but I really think that this is the face of the franchise, basically. Talking about basketball terms or hockey terms, face of the franchise is Flower by Kenzo. EDP has multiple flankers. So let's get into it. First and foremost, before we get into anything, have you subscribed yet? If you're just stumbling upon this video, seeing somebody like myself that has a collection like this, delving into the women's aisle, might be a good person to subscribe to, and smash that like button while you're at it. If you're subscribed or not, much appreciated. Merci beaucoup to all the ones that support me throughout the years. So let's delve into Flower. Let's take a look at the note breakdown. And I believe, even though this is not a violet, the scent profile is based upon the violet, from what I know. In regards to the Eau de Toilette, it was prominent, but it didn't bring out what I think this one is going to bring out. This one has that reputation that's a powdery one. We'll see. Violet is, of course, that note that does that. But there's a lot of florals in this. We have jasmine, rose, among others. We got some fruity notes here, blackcurrant, mandarin up top. And then we got the incense in the base. Let's see if that shows up early. So let's see. Let's crack this one open. It was released back in Y2K, year 2000. Nose behind this, Alberto Returns, Monsieur Alberto Marias. This is a tiny bottle. Is it a 30 mil or 50 mil? It feels like a 30 mil. It feels like it doesn't have much to it. Why am I not seeing, 30 mil. Yeah, so this is a tiny little guy. My Eau de Toilette one was 100 mil, and it was this tall. It doesn't even fit in my cabinets. It's too tall for it. I would have to bring it down a couple notches, which I'm not. They're uniform for a reason. Okay, and now somebody's gonna call me out and say, they're not uniform, bro. You know what, they might not be. Now I just started a, all right. Anyway, you'll call me out in the comments, you always do. So let's delve into Flower Eau de Parfum, penned by Alberto Marias. I absolutely love, from afar, these bottles look great. It looks like the stem of the flower is actually the part of the atomizer, but it's not. That's what I always thought it was, but it's not. It's actually just a drawing. It's just on top of the bottle. So great presentation, first and foremost. They even have Kenzo written on this mini little atomizer, and it is tiny, it's small. So let's delve into it. We'll put it on strip first, and then we'll put it on skin and delve into it. And again, this is a return product from Frag Flex, so it's already primed. Somebody has already put a little bit of a dent into it. So let's smell this one and see what we get. Oh yeah. Okay, so it does take a genius to say this smells like baby powder. It's heavy on the powder. If you don't like powdery scents, this is probably avoid, avoid, avoid. If you love powdery scents, this might bring some magic to the table. We'll see. It definitely hits on the powdery aspect. So violet, let's put in the note breakdown. Boom, let's show that up. Violet is big in this one. It is front and center. What else am I getting? Not much more than that off the strip. So we're going to move on from the strip to skin. And yes, I wear women's fragrances on my skin. And maybe some of you, especially the youngins out there, probably don't even understand what I'm doing. They're like, what, who is this guy? I'm not subscribing to this guy. This guy's weird. Once you grow up, you're gonna notice that even though there is genders in them all, right? They'll say men's perfume, women's perfume. A lot of these notes, rose, violet, jasmine, blackcurrant, basically all of them, I don't see anything in here that hasn't been in a man's fragrance. Now, of course, you're gonna beef it up with some spices and some woods and stuff like that. I really like, the women's fragrances do have like an ambery, they have their dark gourmands as well. I do like tippy-toeing in that, but I do like the softness of some of the women's fragrances that do tippy-toe in the men's aisle as well. But I can see why some women would gravitate into the men's aisle for their fragrances, because there's a lot more sparkle to them. There's a lot more going on. But I really like in the women's aisle, and something like this, you're not going to find this in the men's aisle. You'll find something kind of like this, utilizing violet in this way, but not directly like this one. This has hawthorn as a high secondary note to the violet, which gives it a watery aspect. Think Kenzo-esque, yeah. And it also gives out a honeyed nuance. So it kind of gives it a little bit of bark, we'll say, a little bit of something interesting, right? You don't want something heavy on the baby powder and that's it. And some people, that's what they're going to grasp out of this fragrance, right? You're going to smell this and you're going to look at the main idea. A lot of people do that, and it's not a wrong way or a right way of doing it, but peeling those layers and looking at what Alberto did in regards to what is behind this powder to really grab someone's attention. So these two florals are going head to head against each other, basically. I'm getting a little bit of that vanilla backbone, so you are getting a little bit of a sweetness here. And of course, that could come from the honeyed nuances from the hawthorn. And there is some rose here too. So those are your big players: rose, hawthorn, blackcurrant. I'm not getting any. Mandarin, maybe, that sweetness, maybe, but I'm not getting anything orangey at all. Violet's your primary. Opopanax, no. At least not right now. Jasmine, a white floral, yeah, a little bit. And vanilla and white musks. Incense, no. So that's what I'm getting out of this. It's a soapy, powdery, obviously. Floral, almost has an almond-like quality to it. Almost like the vanilla is not really vanilla, it's tonka bean. It has a creamy aspect, where you'd come to expect that from some of the florals, and the vanilla tendency. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if there's like a nuttiness in here, which is interesting. I might be getting that from another note, but there's something interesting in here. Comparing this to the Eau de Toilette, and again, I just unboxed the Eau de Toilette, like the EDT I unboxed like maybe 2 weeks ago, and that's probably stretching. It might have been a week ago. Like it's fairly recent in my Rolodex. 100% right now. Obviously, I just unboxed both. I haven't done the Eau de Toilette, I did a full wearing, of course, after I did the video. I had no choice. I put it on skin. But I haven't worn it on its own as far as building a fragrance review, we'll say. And this one, of course, I just unboxed. So this is 100%. I can guarantee you that this one is thicker, denser. It's way more powdery than the Eau de Toilette. The Eau de Toilette is much thinner, which I guess you would come to expect. If you like powder and you like powdery scents, she's here. This is yours. This is something that I feel would attract a certain demographic, but it will repel quite a bit of the demographics. So you kind of have to like a certain thing. So Flower by Kenzo, I can see why it's popular, because it has a lot more going on than just the powdery aspect of the violet. It has complexity to it. Marias absolutely killed this one as far as, and again, I'm giving him this flowers recently. It's kind of weird. Like, anybody that knows me knows Alberto and I feel like ever since Jeremy put him on the pedestal as probably one of the most known perfumiers. It used to be Elena, right? People used to follow me. You're bitter, you're angry. No. But that's the way the cookie crumbles. When you're the top dog, everybody follows what you say. But Marias is not, personally, just because he's done quantity doesn't mean it's all quality. I wouldn't, you know what, I should probably do it like a top 10 perfumer list, in my personal opinion. Marias may crack that top 10. He'd be hard pressed though. We got Rapillon. We got, I don't know about Cavalier, but you know, you got quite a few perfumers that might be ahead of him. Obviously, Elena, which is my favorite. So I've already told you who's my favorite. So I don't even know if that video would make any sense. But at the end of the day, going back to Kenzo, Flower, EDP, the classic, what Kenzo is known for. Yeah, it's got a little bit of color to it too. So the florals are bringing out their colors at the same time. I think this is a decent release. It's something that if a woman came to me and said, recommend me a powdery fragrance that isn't too expensive, that's been on the market for a while, this is exactly what this is. This is exactly what that would be. It wouldn't be everybody's taste, but it would be a good starting point in powdery fragrances because it would be easy to find. It's everywhere. Now you can find this one at fragflex.com. That's where I got mine. You can use my code. I have a coupon code there, TFG10. You get 10% off site-wide, so you don't have to just buy this. But Kenzo's at discounters. Never pay retail for Kenzo, by the way. Kenzo's, I would cap out at $60 to $75 at most. Most of them would be around $50 to $60 at discounters, I think, personally. So don't pay too much more than that. They do, from time to time, they get into bargain bins, but they don't last long. At least around my way. If a Kenzo drops into the bargain bin, usually they get snatched up by a fragrance head because they know Kenzos usually don't stick around there. Like I got an old Salvatore Ferragamo coming up to unbox, and that one's a bargain bin staple. Like old Perry Ellis 360s. Those stick around, like Hummer, the old Ferraris, those stick around. But now that you heard my take, I'd love to see yours in the comments below. Again, this is a really popular fragrance in the women's aisle, so I'm assuming there's going to be a lot of lovers, haters. I think this is, I feel like there's no real middle ground with this one. I feel like it's, the powdery aspect is your major player, and I know that kind of genre, that kind of, that spectrum of the fragrance world, you either love it or hate it. You may just like it, but I don't know if there's enough pop here to have somebody have this in their collection and then just be like, ho hum on it. Maybe, because there is some color to it and there is some movement into it. So, and as always, a great pour fragrance will make a lasting impression. Choose your powdery based fragrance wisely. Thanks for watching, YouTube. Have a good one.